Hello and welcome to today's tutorial brought to you by loopwax.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make an EDM style bass similar to that of Nicky Romero and Mighty Fools. It's that really harsh bass sound that you do hear in a lot of EDM tracks these days. I mean, this is the finished product. I'm going to be showing you how to make that from scratch. So we'll start off with a completely fresh version of Massive. And now the voicing tab's already loaded up, so I'm going to change, it's this one, I'm going to change the unison to 16, and I'm going to put it monophonic, and I want to give it some stereo width, so I'm going to turn the pan position on, and then I'm going to move it from mono all the way up to full. And now in terms of the oscillators, the first oscillator is going to be a sine square, and it's going to be all the way in the favour of sine in terms of the position, intensity all the way down, and amp maybe around 1 o'clock. And I'm going to put it all through filter 1. Filter 1 is going to be the only filter we're going to be using today. And I'm going to move the pitch down to -12. So you should have quite a low sub-bass sound at this point. Actually got it recording. Yep. There we go. Now for oscillator 2, I'm going to move that to modern talking. I'm going to move the wavetable all the way up. Intensity is going to stay all the way up, and amp around sort of 11, 12 o'clock. Again, I'm going to put that through filter 1. And then change oscillator 3 to deep throat. Put wavetable position all the way up. Leave the intensity all the way up, and I'm going to put the amp all the way up for this one as well. And all through filter 1. So we should now have something like this. Okay? So now we're going to add a filter. So I'm going to click up here. I'm going to go for low pass 4. I want to put the cutoff at around about 12 o'clock. And the resonance is going to be around 10 o'clock. Okay, it's the only filter we're going to be using. We might as well put the mix between filters 1 and 2 all the way up in the favour of filter 1. And just turn the mix up here as well. And now you should have something like this. Again, a really low sub-bass sound. But what we're now going to do is add the envelopes. So I want to add the envelope to the wavetable positions of the modern talking and deep throat waves. There. I don't know if you noticed that, but you have to click the arrow and then place it on your desired box, and then hold the mouse down where you've got the number in the box and drag into the appropriate position. So I want that all the way up. I'm going to do it on the filter as well. Okay, so we should now have something along these lines. So now we're going to change that envelope. So it's completely up to you as to how you do this and what sound you're going for, but I want it at this kind of position. So I'm going to move the attack up a little bit, leave the decay where it is, but move the level down. And put the release all the way down as well. So it sounds like that. And now I'm going to add some noise. I'm going to turn the colour all the way up. I'm going to leave it on white. I'm going to put it into filter 1, and I'm going to put the amp at about 9 o'clock because I don't really want the noise too loud. Just about loud enough to be only just audible. That's a bit too much. Have it about there, okay? And then we're going to put some modulation effects on. So I want to put this phasing effect on oscillator 3. So I'll click 3 here. And then I'm going to move this to about 9 o'clock. And I'm actually going to put the envelope on there as well. I'm going to move that down. Okay. Now, we've got the basic sound, but it doesn't have anywhere near enough power at the moment, so we're going to add quite a few effects. First one being Bit Crusher. Bit Crush can be quite extreme, so I'm going to put the dry wet to about 10 o'clock and the crush to about 12, 1 o'clock-ish. And I think that's a bit too much crush, so I'll turn that down. See, that's starting to sound a lot filthier already. And then we're going to add the parabolic shaper. Put the drive up to about 12 as well. See, it's sounding dirtier every time. So I'm going to turn the master down. I've got a bit of clipping going on. Next, classic tube. Going to put the dry wet up to about 12 o'clock and the actual drive itself down a little bit. And now you should have something like this. So I'm now going to add the final effect, which is the flanger. It's up to you as to which one you go for, but I'm going to use the flanger negative because I think that sounds quite cool. I'm going to put the rate quite far down because I want it sounding slow. Because if the flanger sounds too fast, it's going to just sound distorted and muddled. And the dry wet's going to go to about 10 o'clock. Feedback and depth. I'd say they're about right. But we've got a bit too much resonance, so I'm going to turn that down. Maybe a bit too much bit crush as well. Okay, and finally, just a bit of EQ. The low shelf probably doesn't need boosting in this case because we've got the sub oscillator anyway, this one, which carries all the low end. So I'm going to give the high shelf a tiny boost. Okay. Now there's quite a lot of room to be creative here. I mean, there's the envelope you can play around with, the filter you can play around with, and the effects as well. So you can really make this one your own by just changing a few parameters. But that's the basic EDM bass.